Welcome to another episode of the Contenders Podcast. I'm your host, Pastor Benjamin Phillips III, and I'm so glad that you took the time to join me on another great episode. And at the Contenders Podcast, our slogan, we're a show where we earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. And before we go ahead and get started with this episode, I kindly ask that you will click both the like and subscribe button so this podcast can be suggested amongst various YouTube channels across the face of the earth. And also, please click the bell icon to receive future notifications anytime we drop a new video or we go live. And if you like to financially support the Contenders Podcast, I was actually about to say the name of my church. If you actually want to continue to support the Contenders Podcast, you can do so. And my cash app is $ BJ Phillips 3. That's $ BJ Phillips 3. You can see it right there scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So let's go ahead and get into this episode. What we want to talk about is the fourth seal. The fourth seal in the book of Revelation, chapter number 6. And let me put this up on the screen for you guys so you can see this. When we get into this fourth seal, here it is right here. Okay. And Revelation chapter 6. And right there, you see in verse 7, it says, "And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, 'Come and see.' And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." Wow. Okay. So I'll be honest with you. When you look at this fourth seal and the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, known as the pale horse, nothing is good about this one. Nothing good. Okay. Everything is bad with this one. Everything has gone wrong. This is, all of you know, when you deal with all four horsemen of the apocalypse, they're all bad. But in my opinion, this is kind of the worst one. Okay, because this horse basically says the name of him that sat on the horse was death. That's all it is. It's just death. Okay, and hell followed behind him. And I want to show you the picture of that. It says hell followed behind him, and remove that one. Give me 1 second here. And I'm going to show you a picture of this fourth horseman, because I mean, this guy is just like brutal. Here it is. This is what we're talking about him, the pale horse. Death and hell follow behind him. All right. And so this fourth horseman of the apocalypse, it basically represents death. It's death. The fourth seal that we're talking about, it deals with record numbers of death and record numbers of losses of life. People are going to lose their lives across the planet Earth. We're going to see, and the world specifically, during the Great Tribulation, they're going to see astronomical death rates. Death rates what we have never seen, in the history of mankind. When you deal with the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, death and hell followed after him. Okay, so death was his name, and hell, followed after him. That basically means that those that are unrepentant during the times of the Great Tribulation, and they ultimately will succumb to death. But ultimately, when they die, they will immediately be thrown into hell. That's terrible. That's like no hope, eternally lost, lost forever. That's what this fourth horseman of the apocalypse represents. And, you know, as I said before, death at an astonishing rate all over the world. And over the past 3 years, we saw kind of glimpses of this through COVID-19. If you remember, COVID-19 alone has taken 6.8 million lives worldwide. And I remember during the height of the pandemic, living out here in Los Angeles, it was crazy out here. It was so bad that there were individuals, deceased individuals outside of hospitals, okay, still on gurneys. Okay, still there weren't enough body bags in some places. It was just crazy. They didn't have enough rooms in morgues to house people. And I want to quickly show you this LA Times article that I was looking at. If I have it pulled up, yeah, I do. I still have it pulled up here. I'll show you this LA Times article because this was crazy to me when I was looking at this. Because as I was going over this, it reminded me of what we were going through in the city of Los Angeles in LA County, particularly. And it says this was dated January 9th, 2021. So this was 2 years ago. But I remember this because it was during the height of the pandemic. And it says a mass fatality event. California struggles with backlog of bodies of COVID-19 victims. And it says, with hospital morgues overwhelmed by soaring numbers of bodies amid a surge in COVID-19 deaths, hard hit parts of California are struggling to store the bodies of those who have died. The Los Angeles County, again, remember this 2 years ago during the height of the pandemic. The LA County Coroner's Office is accelerating efforts to temporarily store corpses as the local death toll hits record levels. It says, last spring, okay, so spring of 2020, the coroner's office had anticipated a surge in the dead and quadrupled its storage capacity to at least 2,000 bodies by bringing in the 12 refrigerated trailers. As of Monday, during this particular article written in January 2021, it says the coroner's office was holding 757 bodies. It says more than 4,400 COVID-19 deaths have been reported since December of 2021, an astonishing number in just a matter of weeks. The cumulative number of dead in LA County from the disease is more than 12,000 in LA County, 12,000, a milestone that was crossed that Saturday. It says in just the last 5 days alone, an average of about 250 COVID-19 deaths a day have been reported in LA County. That's higher than the average number of daily deaths from all other causes combined, including heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, car crashes, suicides, and homicides, which is about 170. Hospital morgues are overcrowded because funeral homes and private mortuaries are so full that they are having to turn families away. Open spots at the hospital morgues are quickly being replaced by new bodies. To prepare for the surge, the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services has been preparing to dispatch 88 refrigerated trailers around the state to supplement morgue space. 10 have already been dispatched to Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Imperial, Monterey, and Sonoma counties. So, again, I wanted to share that with you because that was from an article in January 2021 about the pandemic. And I wanted to show that to you because the pandemic was just a glimpse into the future. What we saw with COVID-19, that was just a glimpse. Okay. God was showing that to us and we were experiencing that, and it was dreadful for many of us. It was hard. It was hard for, no matter where you were or where you are. I know you went through something. We all went through things with, dealing with death and, family members, just, friends. It was terrible. Right. But God was showing us some things concerning that, of how it's going to be in the end time. And every day we saw numbers of people dying worldwide. And you know what? We actually became numb to it. I know I did. It was just hearing the numbers and seeing the numbers on the news. And I'm not a big fan of the news. I don't really like watching the news, but you couldn't help but watch the news during the pandemic. You found yourself watching the news, or if you weren't watching the news at home, you were, on your computer looking at CNN, Fox, MSNBC, all your local news channels. You were trying to see what was going on if someone could, give you some information to actually what you already knew. We knew what was happening, and we couldn't do anything. A lot of times we just shake our heads. And I remember there's times I was sitting with my wife, I would just shake my head because there was nothing that we could do but pray. And every day during the tribulation, just as it was in COVID-19, they're going to release the numbers. They're going to release the numbers of people dying across planet Earth. And what we just read in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, it says a fourth part of the earth will die. When you deal with parts, a fourth part, that's basically 25%. 25% of the global population, about 2 billion people, all right, are going to die. And they're going to die through weaponry, famine, death, or natural causes. And it even says, even by the wild beasts. Okay? The beasts are the animals of the earth. There's going to be so much chaos during the tribulation. There's going to be so much panic and chaos, so much widespread death that the wild animals will actually begin to attack human beings. Right? And there's nothing that anybody can do to stop this. Nothing is going to happen. There's nothing anybody will be able to do to stop what the pale horse is going to, how much havoc he's going to wreak on planet Earth. That's why I tell people you don't want to be here 1 second after the rapture. And it's crazy, as I was looking at this is a tough one. This fourth seal. No one is going to be able to stand before God on judgment day and say, Lord, I didn't know. You know why? Is because we're going through some of those things, and we have gone through some of those things with COVID-19 over the last 3 years. We have actually seen that. We have actually seen some of those things, and it's like God has been preparing us, you know, through glimpses of these things to prepare for the end time, to be ready, and to warn people to wake up. You don't want to go through this. Okay, so God, and I'm hoping that God, has gotten all of our attention, and that, we are alert, we're sober, we're vigilant, we're ready for the coming of the Lord. And when we discuss the judgments, the vile judgments specifically, we're going to start to understand why there is so much death in the world. We're going to understand that. Okay, we're going to break down these numbers even further, and we're going to further break down the impact of the fourth horseman, okay, or the pale horse. All right. And so I want to thank you for checking out this video. I want to thank you for supporting the Contenders podcast. I want you to continue to check out our End Times playlist. And again, if you want to support the network and this particular YouTube channel financially, the Contenders podcast, again, my cash app is $BJ Phillips 3. Again, I kindly ask that you will click both the like and subscribe button so this podcast can be broadcast and published amongst various YouTube channels, throughout the world. Also, remember to click the bell icon to receive any notifications anytime we drop a new video. God bless you, and I hope to see you during the next episode.